it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Bramble Fox using a perspective set from the store. It's called Mistletoe Kisses. It's one of my favourites of the Christmas release. You get the title as well as a couple of sprigs of mistletoe and 4 little kisses as well. So you get 2 in red to match the title and 2 in pink. So a massive set, lots of goodies in this one. And it's actually the second time I've created with this one. I love it so much that I thought I'd create a second layout with it. And this time I'm using Echo Park's The Magic of Christmas collection. So lots of traditional reds and greens to match the perspective set. And I've cut 4 patterned paper squares. I think they're about 2.5 inches squared, and I've distressed all the edges of those. And I'm going to get those stuck down flat on my background. I'm sort of going to have them going in a horizontal line, but not completely straight. I want them a little bit sort of hickledy-pickledy. So just using some double-sided tape to get those stuck in place. And I've gone for a mixture of reds and greens, like that gorgeous holly print as well. And then I've got my photo, which is a 3x4 photo, and it's of my son and one of our cats last Christmas. They were both sat in front of the Christmas tree, and my son had put a blanket over his lap. My cats adore blankets. If you've got a blanket over you or a dressing gown, you can guarantee they will come and sit on your lap. And he was sat in front of the tree, bless him, and he pulled this blanket over his lap, trying to get Felix to sit on his lap, and of course didn't let him down. Straight over he was onto his lap. So I caught some really cute photos of the pair of them, and I loved that I thought the Mistletoe Kisses title went really nicely with the photo. So I've added a white frame to the edge of my photo. I like to have a white border just to help the photo pop and give it a bit of separation. Now I could do that on my printer, but I prefer to use white cardstock because it makes the photo a little bit sturdier then. And I find photo paper is so flimsy, so I like to have that cardstock behind it. And I've also added a layer of green basil cardstock as well. It matches that far left, left, got my left and right muddled up then, the far left square on my layout. Gosh, it's been a long day. So I've added some craft foam behind my photo as well, just to help it stand off from the background. Something I like to do just to make sure it remains the focal point. If it's raised up, I find your eye is drawn to it a bit more. And then I'm going to add my Mistletoe Kisses perspective title just to the left there, on top of the white, so it really shows up. If I'd put it over the patterned papers, you just wouldn't have seen the true colour of it, and it would have got lost, and I really wanted it to show. So I've stuck it on the white there next to my photo, and I'm going to add a sprig of mistletoe underneath it. Now, one of the pattern papers in this Echo Park collection is called Poinsettias and Pine, and I've pretty much fussy cut the whole 12x12 sheet to use as embellishments. So I worked with this collection for Paper Maze this month, and I've got loads left over. So I've got all these bits to use, so I thought they'd look lovely on this layout with these perspectives. So I'm just sort of arranging them in clusters. I'm going to have one at the top of my photo and one at the bottom. And then I wanted to extend the page down a bit. At the moment I've got those 2 acrylic kisses kind of coming down the page, and I wanted something at the bottom. My plan was to sort of have them, sort of the kisses coming down and then to meet that cluster at the bottom. But I end up moving the kisses, as you can see here. So I've got one under my title now, and then one down at the bottom. And then I'm just going to work my way around now, getting everything stuck in place before I add too much more. I have a really bad habit, and I think a lot of us do. I kind of build a layout up and decide I love it, and then realise that none of it is stuck down. So I have to move it all off to stick it. So I do try as best I can to stick as I go. So I got those pattern papers stuck in place fairly early on because I didn't want to have to move all my embellishments off to get those stuck down. So it's just a case of going around and sticking those flowers and leaves down. And I've used foam pads for those to bring in a bit of dimension, and then my glossy accents for all of my Bramble Fox acrylics. And I felt like the pattern paper squares were just looking a little bit bare at this point. They needed something on them. And a layout I'd created, I created it earlier in the month, but I don't actually think it's gone live yet for Paper Maze. I've done this as well. I've used a white gel pen and added a fake stitching border around some bits of paper. And I really love how that looks. It really stands out. So I've done the same thing here. It's a white Uniball gel pen. It's just some faux stitching. It's much easier than using a sewing machine, and I actually think it stands out a little bit better than white machine stitching would have done. And I've just decided that those two left-hand corner squares were just there for no reason at the moment. They've got nothing on them. They just really stand out, that they look unfinished. So I've decided I'm going to build a cluster on that far green one. So I'm just fussy cutting a couple more leaf clusters, and then I'm going to build a cluster there using some older Bramble Fox bits. So there we go, just fast forwarded through the rest of the fussy cutting for you. I'm just going to get those flowers and leaves stuck down with some foam pads, and then I'm going to bring in some of the Bramble Fox paper cuts or paper snips, and I'm going to use the epoxy flare stickers with these. So you can see there I've got a strip, and they fit perfectly over these circular paper snips at the bottom, and I've just used a 1-inch circle punch to punch those out. And then the epoxy sticker just sits right on top, and it gives them a lovely domed effect, and I really do adore how these look on the page. So I've gone for two that are kind of the darker tones, sort of reds, greens and blacks, to match my colour scheme, and I've just slotted those in with a couple of the clusters, and I really like how those look. And now I've got a few older Bramble Fox perspectives, or older and new, I think. The little Christmas tree I'm sticking down now, Morag, bless her heart, I love Morag and Nicola to bits. They sent us a little Christmas present each, and that little mirrored tree you see there was stuck on the packaging. So I've recycled that, taken it off and used it on this layout, and I love that mirrored effect. And then I've brought in another Christmas tree as well that I had in my stash left over from last year. Got lots of Bramble Fox trees. I think actually they might be my son's, because he got upset that I'd used mine and had to buy him a set, and somehow they've made their way into my craft room, so I probably ended up pinching one of his there. But there we go, there is my finished layout. I hope you've enjoyed this process. It's probably, I think, my last layout for Bramble Fox of this year. So thank you so much for following me and joining me on my scrappy process for Bramble Fox this year. It's been a fantastic year, and I have loved all the products I've got to work with in 2022, and can't wait for next year. So thanks very much for joining me. I'll leave some links to the store and our Facebook group in the description box below for you. Do check those out. There's loads of inspiration on our Facebook group, and also our blog from other design team members, so do check everything out. But I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I will be back next year, so take care.